Hey, what's up guys, it's me, Tianne. So, when it comes to my girls, I'm always down to support them. But I'm not talking about my homegirls. I'm talking about my girls, my breasts. Today is dedicated to my girls. There's a lot we can do to understand the risk of breast cancer. Okay, so today I'm with my girls and we're discussing how to protect our other girls. So I didn't learn about breast cancer until I entered the 9th grade, and my teacher taught us about it. When did you girls learn about breast cancer? Was it in the family, in school? What was the age that you learned about it?
Definitely learned about it as a teenager.
Okay.
I understood it.
Okay.
I didn't understand it as a child what it was, but my mother had it, and we didn't really recognize it for what it was at that time. She was just ill. But I think I was a teenager when I understood that this was something very serious that went on with her body, that she needed to have a lot of reconstruction work and things that were going on with her body at that time that she needed to address. So that was my first time.
I would say I was in the 9th grade actually too. I found out that my aunt had breast cancer, and at the time I knew of cancer because my father had passed away from prostate cancer and my uncle, so I thought cancer was almost like something that the men had to deal with, you know, at such a young age. And then my aunt got breast cancer and I was like, wait a minute. So women, we can get this too? So at that young stage, it was interesting trying to understand and wrap my head around, first of all, what is this and what do I do about it? You know, because my aunt had it, you know, could I get it? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, for me, I think I was a young girl, young teenager, and I grew up in a generation, I'm a little ahead of these ladies, and back then it was not discussed. I did have a cousin who had breast cancer, and it was like, it went through the family, so-and-so has breast cancer, then never spoke of it, never discussed it, and that was it.
Well, did keep on saying teenage years. Give me an age range. Did you have breast already? Did you develop breast already? And it was like, boom, we're talking about breast cancer out of nowhere, or it was the moment that you started to develop breast that your mom told you, or your auntie started to tell you?
I think that it had always been talked about, and I had baby breasts in high school, baby ones, and my mother was going through reconstruction, and so that really struck me because I knew that her breasts were being redone. So I was about 15 or 16, so, and that's when I was really conscious of them and really wanted them to grow faster than they were growing and wanted them to be impressive. So it really resonated with me that she was having hers reconstructed. So I was very curious at that point.
When did your mom learn about breast cancer? Did she get detected on an early age, or?
She did, actually, because she had cancer at 37. So, and I didn't know that. And by that time, my mom had had me at 34. So she had breast cancer pretty early on. And once I entered high school was when they were, you know, trying to make them look better, and there were better options for just making them not look like they were mangled surgically. So she knew about it, and she's a nurse, so she talks about things that probably other households didn't talk about. So yeah, high school.
I have a fact here, and I want to know your thoughts on it. Breast cancer is the most common cancer among Black women. And Black women are more than 40% more likely to die from breast cancer than white women. How do you, what are your thoughts on that?
Those numbers are surprising, you know, a little bit shocking, a little bit scary, you know. You almost want to feel like, well, as a Black woman, what do I need to do? You know, what things should I be understanding? You know, is it something associated with my diet as well? Are there things associated with, you know, exercising, fitness? You almost want to figure out, okay, it is what it is. What do we need to do?
When did you girls first have a mammogram?
Well, I actually have not had one yet. I have not had one yet, and I'm actually getting one literally scheduled this week. I talked to my doctor, I want to say last year, because of on my dad's side of the family, all the cancer. It's like so many different types of cancer on my dad's side of the family. And so she was telling me that insurance companies will get a lot of women tested earlier before they're 40. And she says, okay, next year, you know, Tianne, we need to get you tested. You know, she's done all the other type of examinations on me, but we need to be sure. So this is a year where I'm actually getting my first mammogram.
Yes, yes. And I felt like this was very important for, you know, Black women, period, because I didn't know. I didn't know, and I never got a mammogram yet. So, you know, doing this and sitting with you girls that have family members and that, you know, have suffered from that, I'm, you know, please, you know, spill the tea, like we say, spill the tea, because it's more likely for us Black women to, you know, the chances are higher before the age of 45, and you know, why wait?
I think I had mine in my 30s also, and yeah, I started in my 30s, and it's just so important. Just even you talking about the thing about the paternal side and at risk, that education is so important because we don't. I never even heard that before. And even when I got my mammogram, just going on, when I found out about knowyourgirls.org, I went on and I was reading things and I was like, I wish I would have known and read, went to this website before I took my mammogram, because the last mammogram I had, they did call me, excuse me, and they said, we need to take it again, we found something. And just that we found something sent me into a tizzy. I mean, I just felt like the ceiling had just crashed in on me. But when I went on knowyourgirls.org, it was saying that that call does not mean you have cancer. That means we need to take another look. This may be so, and it was nothing. But if I would have just had that information, it would have saved me from that panic. They found something, I have to go back. And education, just a little to knowing information is so important.
That's why it's important that we're doing this now, because this, you know, we're discussing amongst ourselves, but hopefully, you know, this helps someone that, you know, that's watching us. This is important.
Yeah, you know? and the bottom line is raw as this sounds, being in denial can mean the difference between you being told, if that happens to you, that you're stage 1 and stage 4. There's denial, could be in the middle of that. So that's another thing we need to overcome.
When did you get yours?
I also had mine in my 30s. You know, I was about 36 when I got mine, and I honestly did not want to go, knowing that I had family history. It bugged me that I had to go ahead of everyone else, but I went to please my mother and to satisfy my curiosity, because I wanted to know. And I did get the cryptic call back, but there was something very critical that I heard in the callback, is that they said we needed to take other images because we don't know your breasts. And so you know, and they were talking about the tissue and all of these technical terms, and a light switch went on, and I said, oh, well, I probably need to get to know them too, so that I can understand and recognize any differences when I see them. So once they said that, I said, okay, well, I see them more often than you do, so I should probably get to know mine as well. So, but yeah, mid-30s.
And you know what's interesting, to jump in on that, is that they say the younger you are when you get a mammogram, apparently it's a little difficult to read sometimes because younger women have more, I guess, more dense, you know, tissue in their breasts. And I know they also recommend like ultrasounds and things like that. Did you guys have to do any of that as well?
I had to do an ultrasound.
Ultrasound?
I got into a very high-tech machine, and it was probably an ultrasound. I don't know. But just the process was unnerving at first. But having the information was very empowering to me. So I felt more at ease after having gone than I would have if I had been in denial and not gone at all.
The knowing you empowered yourself.
Yes.
Why do you think it's hard to talk about our breast health or family health in general to our family members? Why is it so hard?
I don't know, maybe it's almost like a taboo. If we don't talk about it, it won't happen. You know what I mean? I feel like we talk about literally everything, right? We talk about our diets, we talk about, you know, anything that's external, we talk about, but it's almost like if you can't see it, we're not going to talk about it. I don't know, but it's,
Yeah.
Maybe
I agree.
an element of fear involved where people are scared. You're scared that it will happen. You know, it's that philosophy where, you know, if I'm scared and I don't mention it, then I still have my power because I haven't given myself permission to say that I'm scared and that this is part of my DNA. So maybe fear is a factor.
I agree. So how can we encourage other women in our lives how to take care of our girls?
I don't know, I have an interesting idea. What?
Oh God.
I mean, we like to celebrate so many things in life, right? Why don't we just celebrate it? Have almost like a screening party. You know what I mean? Like some type of support, like, you know, sort of out of the box, but a little support type of system. So if you know some women who are, you know, at that stage where they're ready to get tested, you know, you guys get your screenings done and you kind of have a party and kind of come together and celebrate and uplift each other, you know, or when you get the telephone call about your results, you know, you call that person, okay, hey, I got my results. Do it in a way.
Party to even get it done.
Yes.
Because like I said, I didn't know to get it done.
Yes.
So like even start a tradition in the family when all the cousins turn 30.
Right.
We go and get our mammograms.
Exactly.
Like a rite of passage. A rite of passage.
After, you know, just a celebration.
Yeah, because we're celebrating understanding our bodies and understanding who we are as women, you know? So let's celebrate what our bodies can do. Let's celebrate this next stage of our lives, getting, you know, our mammograms, because it's just one step in the many stages of life as Black women that we have to go through.
And it's important for us Black women.
Especially.
Especially to get checked.
And to add it on to show our children. You know, our young, you know, Black girls coming up, they'll see their moms and their friends and their aunties doing it. So they'll say, okay, so when I get this particular age, I should be doing that too. You know, it won't be something like we're learning and understanding now what we should be doing. It's going to be a no thought for them.
Yeah,
you know,
and for them not to learn in school. I mean, no shade to my parents, but it's, you know, I learned it in school, and I would rather learn it home. And when we're learning this now, and me having my own Black girl magic, I'm gonna be able, she's gonna hear it from home first, and then when she goes in school, she's like, oh wait, hold on, I know about this. Mommy told me this. So I think it's very important for us to support each other, our family members, and get them to know it at home. And it's not a secret.
No.
I'm sure.
And I think it speaks to the greater conversation about these different stages that young women go through when you're having the talk about
I ain't get there yet.
when you're having these talks at these different stages in life about, you know, your first menstruation, and you know that your breasts are going to grow, and you know eventually you're going to have a baby, and maybe you will breastfeed, and then you will go through menopause. I mean, I think this will speak to the greater conversation that we should be having with our young girls about what they can expect and ways to empower them with information before they get to that point.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. Because my mother right now, you know, my mother's gone off to be with the Lord, but I can think of so many things I wish I would have asked her. Mom, when did you start menopause? So I would, and what was that like? And just things we never even think of until it's like your mom is gone. And like, I should have asked her when she started, because when I started, I want to know, you know, around what age will I start? What's it going to mean? What am I going to feel like?
That's right.
You know, this, and I'm old school. I came up, I was born in the 50s, and you didn't talk about anything. And I'll tell you, as a you know, 60-something person, when I hear of all the thing in society now about, oh, talking this and empowering, I mean, there's so much of it is nonsense. And I'm like, let's cut to the chase. Let's get to the things that are important to talk about.
That's right.
You know, our health, our body, you know, the cultural things that affect us, you know. And that's the kind of stuff that's important to grow up to realize what instead of what some of the things that go on with our bodies that, you know, we call the curse and all this, but to celebrate the miracle that is our bodies.
That's right.
The miracle of our bodies. And
it's magical.
You know, it is. It's very magical. One thing I wanted to also mention is I feel like we get the information, we know what we need to do, but I feel like a lot of us black women still don't take the action to get our screenings and mammograms done. And one thing for me, my doctor had brought up that last year, you know, this year is the year, but it's June. You know, and I realize a lot of time as black women, we're the nurturers, right? We make sure that everybody else is accounted for as far as that. All of my kids have all of their doctor's appointments scheduled. I'll ask my husband, are you going to make sure you're getting this checked or this or that? But unless our limb is falling off as black women, I feel like we're like,
that's real.
It's like, we're okay, you know, nothing's wrong with me, you know, I'm fine. But that's, you know, not the case, because even nowadays, it's not enough for doing the self-breast exam, because there's so many women who've been detected to have cancer without having a lump. So all the self-examination isn't enough, and it's like, what can we do to help motivate women, myself included? Like I said, I found out last year that I need to get tested or screened or have a mammogram, and I have done absolutely nothing. What can we do, you know, further to help, you know, encourage women to just do it, you know?
Hopefully, you know, another black woman speaking to another black woman. That should, you know, hopefully be more, you know, the most motivating thing than anything else. It's like, all right, she's just like me. She looks just like me, and she's telling me to do this. Oh, okay, maybe I need to get this done. And that's me speaking from my generation. And I love this sister circle because it's coming from different age range. So I'm glad that we were able to sit down and discuss our girls because, you know, I think it's very important. And coming from the different generation and saying the same thing, that's also important as well. Okay, ladies, I gave you all some facts, and I want us to address these facts before we wrap up. All right, I'm gonna go first. Thanks to Affordable Care Act, all health insurance plans should cover yearly mammograms with no out-of-pocket costs, which means like no co-pays. For women 40 and older, if your doctor says you're at a higher risk of breast cancer, your screening should be covered even if you're under 40. Medicare and Medicaid also cover breast cancer screening.
Well, every woman should treat her breasts with the same love, attention, and understanding as she would share with her girlfriend.
And knowing your breasts can save your life.
Black women are more likely to die from breast cancer than white women.
Go to knowyourgirls.org to learn how you can take action to support your breast health. Then follow @KnowYourGirls, a new channel focused on black women's health, where we can learn about our risks, share our stories, and discuss how to take care of our girls. I want to thank you girls again. Thank you so much for sharing your stories and encouraging, and hopefully this prompts some of our girls to go to knowyourgirls.org and ask their family members. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.